Alright, after those words of wisdom, we're going to kick off race number 2 of the weekend. This was Sunday morning. This was the most exciting race of the 3 that we did over the weekend. This was a battle, kind of a 4-way battle between Chase, Anton, myself, and Chris Berry was just lurking in the background, although he had some issues over the weekend, so he didn't quite have the pace to keep up. But he would have been a handful if he got up just a little bit further to us. We were taking the green flag. I got a good jump on the start. Chase just faded behind me. Got a little bit different perspective this weekend than I usually do because I forgot my GoPro mount. So I had to steal a GoPro mount from somebody else's car that wasn't running, and it's on top of the roll bar instead of my usual side where you can see my hands and my gauges a little bit, which I much prefer. And you can see one of the mirrors, so you can't really see all the action that goes on behind me here, but I can kind of remember most of it, and I'll explain some of it. So obviously just started the race, so we got a group behind us. But comfortable to be in the lead and not have to deal with anything right now. This is the first New England Formula Vee points race. New England Formula Vee only does the afternoon races for points. Oh, excuse me, this is the morning race, so this doesn't even count for New England Formula Vee. I forgot. This was the most exciting race and the one I decided to take the time to edit and show you guys. You can see Chase just showing his wheel a little bit there on the left side of the camera. Still got a tight group behind us. He gets a little bit better run down that hill than I haven't quite got it figured out. You know, when the track is warmer and we have more grip, I really like the outside line there coming down the hill, and I'll explain that some more in a couple laps. But I just couldn't figure out where the speed was this weekend. The car was a little bit looser, and I set it up on purpose that way. And it just, I didn't have a whole lot of confidence in it running it wherever I wanted in that corner. So Chase is on the inside of me. Backed out a little bit earlier to let him get ahead. No point in fighting and trying to go around the outside. He had a strong car all weekend. There's a couple of points where I think he could pick up some time, and one of them in the last complex of corners, and I think we'll see during this race that he takes a few different lines there, and none of them really seem to be optimal. But at the same point, it's not that I'm perfect, because he does this corner. This is the one I was talking about before. He does this corner just better than me. I mean, look where he can get on the gas and just accelerate out, and I'm just not feeling the confidence in the car to get on the gas that hard that early. And it really does stick when you get down into that apex, but this corner I feel like I was doing pretty good every lap. He got it really well that time. And this is the last complex, the start of the complex here, where I just don't think he's got it quite figured out yet. So he pushes a little wide there, has to turn in more, lift a little bit, where I've got the car set up for the straight line. And I always just get a better run out of there anyway. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of draft involved, but in this particular instance, I think it was just simply that I got a better straight line at exit. Turn 1, you can see a oil line follows the outside of that corner, and then to the left right there, that was Tom Kenny. Blew an oil filter during qualifying and just littered the track with a thick line of oil, and you could feel it all weekend. It didn't go away. coming up the hill, usually you push out pretty wide there, and of course I'm using all of the racetrack. But this weekend, the car being a little bit more loose really felt like it rotated going up that hill, and I didn't even have to lift going up that hill on some laps. Now here we go again. My right tire danced on that crest in the middle and just pushed me out. I had to lift again. Not a good exit. Still plenty fast. Stay in the lead, but just not happy with the way that I'm taking that corner. I know there's more speed there. Driver off on the left. That's Gerard, old man Callahan, abandoning the race, abandoning his car, running for cover. I don't blame him. I'm not sure what happened. I know he got it fixed and he was fine for the rest of the weekend. I think it was an electrical problem. That's right, it was a distributor issue. So he had to sit out and watch it from the sidelines. Here comes Anton up the inside. Of course, he gets a good run from the draft. Goes by me. And I know Anton is deadly quick. Quick and aggressive driver. Not aggressive in the fact that he'll block you or be overly aggressive with you, but he's aggressive with his car, so he's liable to put it sideways a little bit more. And there we go. I forced him, because I went on the inside of him, I forced him out and forced him to take a tighter line in that corner, which caused him to have a bad exit, and that allowed me to get back by him. And also, on the exit of that corner, you might have noticed I kept the car right to the right. I gave him enough room to drive on the racetrack, but I defended my line. I didn't let him come back out to the left to get a better run down that hill. And so he backed out of it. This Formula Vee race was really anybody's race. The top four of us were so close that it just mattered if you hit a little bump and got the car a little sideways, you'd lose the position. And that's what Formula Vee racing is all about. I mean, really just close, good racing. And we had a really good battle in this race. We raced 3 times over the weekend. The format is qualifying, race on day 1, and then race in the morning and race in the afternoon on day 2. Here comes Anton with that draft again, but he didn't quite have it, so he backed out of it before turn 1. Smart heads-up driving by Anton. We could have went side by side, but that would have slowed us down and probably brought another driver closer to the mix of this front back. We have another car off the side here, another small mechanical problem. He ended up getting back on track for the rest of the weekend as well. So we have a local yellow in that sector for a couple of laps, and then they just, once the driver gets out and gets to a safe position, they'll pull the yellow if the car's not in that dangerous spot, and they'll just leave it there and let us finish our race. If they put it under full course caution, they have to send the tow truck out. It's honestly, most of the race is gone by the time they retrieve the car. Unfortunately, Palmer is a track that's on a mountain, and there's not a lot of good access roads. So the tow truck has to drive around the entire track. You can't just pull them off out of the way like in Formula 1. Chase getting a run, taking over the position. And even down this straightaway, you get a pretty good draft and can gain some time. But that's Formula Vee racing, and you can't be too excited to try to get the position right back. You know you're going to be able to draft and pass on the next lap, so you're better off just waiting. Throws a tear off at me, typical. Let's see, I think he gets a good exit this lap. Yeah, he's just doing this corner better than me this weekend. Look at that gap. I mean, that's a couple of tenths right there that I could be gaining. Gotta figure that one out. I didn't run the test day before the weekend, so this is my second time on track. Excuse me, third time on track. We had a race yesterday afternoon. I keep forgetting this is Sunday morning's race. Go there on a test day and really figure that out. So again, here's a corner where I think Chase is losing a little bit. Yeah, he hit the bump and went wide there, and then he had to slow down again. You can see the puffs of smoke. That's when he's getting back on the gas. He's slowing down again before, after he gets on the gas, he lifts again, and it just has that hesitation makes a big difference. He actually pointed me by to the right there, as you can see, but I was already lining him up to pass on the left. Saw me coming, stayed his course. So not only the draft, but the little bit more speed I have on the exit makes a big difference. Now, here we come up on a lap car, and of course I'm hoping that I get by them and they don't before this corner, but that's not the case. I think they both got by the lap car pretty quickly and easily, and they're still on my tail. Can't see them, but there are 3 cars behind me. Anton, Chase, and Chris Berry. And that's my kind of preferred line through there. On the outside, the right tire is just on the outside of that black crest. The car really grips, and you keep a higher speed. You don't have to slow down as much to hit the apex. And it just works most of the time. I think on warmer days, when I have more confidence, I really feel like it's faster. I've gained some time on other drivers there, taking that line and making it work. The apex kind of shoots you out to the curb a little bit harder, and you're just not carrying as much rolling speed. But, depends on the car, depends on the driver. You can make either one work. Tear off. Chase on my inside. I didn't quite let him have it until the last second. Now we have a new friend, a Bug, who's going to ride along on the camera for the rest of the race. Unfortunately. I need a little squeegee. Oh yeah, here's a big moment by Chase. Almost completely sideways in front of me, and of course I had to lift. I didn't know which direction he was going to end up going, and Anton, being a little bit further behind, had a better view of what was going on and didn't have to lift, so he gets the run. So now I'm jockeying back to 3rd place. I got another car behind me, and we're getting pretty late in the race on this one. I think this morning race was 14 minutes plus a lap, if I remember correctly, so it's a shorter race. I do have a lap counter in the car. I don't always figure out what it is or bother to look at it. But I know we're getting a little later in the race. And we're coming up on a lap car here. And so I'm kind of figuring in my mind right now that we're going to catch this guy in the last complex. And and that's not going to be good. It's going to slow us all down for the straightaway. So what I'm doing is I'm lifting earlier right now, and I'm going to leave a little bit more of a gap. I'm just not really getting back on the throttle until a little bit later in this corner, and I'm full on, and I think I have the perfect gap. And they had to lift just a little bit and hesitate for that car, and I'm getting a big draft here. So guess what? White flag, and they're having a 2-for-1 special today. There goes Anton, there goes Chase. Just perfect timing on that. 2-for-1 special into turn 1. And now I just have to defend and hope that neither one of them can get the run. It's kind of possible to get a draft before the start-finish line, but start-finish line is just at the right moment that the leader coming out of the last corner here will probably win, unless the person behind them sets it up perfectly. So I defended going into that complex of corners, just stay to the inside. There's no way that they could pass me around the outside. Very well, it'd be very unlikely anyway. I'm gonna run a little bit tighter here. Not too much tighter, I guess, than normal. Thought I hit the apex that time, but I guess I forgot I didn't. And now I'm looking at these 2 lap cars coming up, and I'm thinking, oh no, this could work out very poor in my favor. I'm just hoping they're a little faster than the last car through this complex here, but I got a decent gap, so it's actually working out very nicely. Get on the gas, and I think I'm going to run into the back of them and have to lift here, but no, I can just hold it down, stay to the inside. I don't think it was the fastest I've ever come out of that corner, but, and checkered flag, checkered flag. That is race number 2 of the weekend in the books, and that is the 2nd win. I go on to win the 3rd race as well, so it was a clean sweep all weekend for me, which is great in Formula Vee. With close racing, you never know. You know, we got a good group of guys, good front pack, and anybody can take it. So here's a victory lap weekend. Got that checkered flag waving. Proud to take an extra lap and burn some extra gas here. I want to say thank you to all the sponsors and people that helped me out. Big thanks to iRacing. Couldn't do it without you. I wouldn't have the experience without iRacing. It's a true simulation and big help. Also, Chris Cox Race Engines. The engine was going great all weekend. Coyote Racing and John VanDeCar Race Prep. Of course, my wife. So that's it. We'll see you guys at the next one. Thanks for watching.